how to master our emotions. We are the results of our emotional states. We take our decisions, the bad ones and the good ones, depending on which emotional state we are in. That is so powerful that I think this is one of the most important lessons in personal development, in my opinion. What I want to mean with that, these days, a friend of mine from Portugal came to visit me here in Sweden, and he took me to Copenhagen to go to Tivoli, and then he invited me to go in the roller coaster, and he invited me to this roller coaster. I was like, no man, no, I don't want. He's like, are you afraid? I'm like, I'm not afraid, I just don't want to go. And he insists, and I said, okay, I'm going to accept that challenge. And I went to the roller coaster with him, and we sit in the first seat, and I start to get a little bit nervous. The roller coaster started to go up, and I start to analyze my emotions. For me, I was like, okay, I want to know what is happening inside of me in that moment. Let's see if I can manage my emotions. And the thing went up, and then suddenly went down. So when it went down, I looked to the side, and I looked to my friend, and he was like screaming like crazy, really afraid. And I started to feel the same. But that was 1 second that I managed, to stop my fear and observe my emotions during the process. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I could feel my fear, but if I would give just a little bit to the fear would come out. And at the same time, I was out observing my emotions, and I could go the whole way, the whole roller coaster, without screaming. But not because I was holding. There is two things here. I could be screaming, or I could be like holding my emotions. No. Imagine there is a place inside of us, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. There is a place inside of us that's like the point zero. It's the place where we can observe our emotions. And from that point is where mastering the emotions come, because from that point you can choose to get triggered or not. You can choose from that point if you will react to some emotions or not. That's what I'm trying to say. And it was amazing. I left the roller coaster and we started talking, and he was like, man, he was like this, really excited, and I started to share that with him. Man, I was thanking him. I'm so happy that you invited me, because I had the opportunity to experience that thing that's called the point zero, and we all have that. Do you feel you have a point zero? You understand when I say point zero? Yeah. But do you also agree that we usually lose from the point zero? You know what I mean? We usually, if we don't practice, we react. When I say we lose, it's because we react. We say, I don't want to lose my patience today. But then we lose the patience, right? We want to say, I don't want to procrastinate today, but then we procrastinate. Mostly, we all humans, this is general, mostly we lose for our emotions. And that's the point. That's what I'm bringing here for you today. It's a formula. It's a way that I will prove you that if we use that and practice, because that's what I'm saying. I'm still have to practice this thing all the time. So I can apply in my life. Which the emotion that you think that, win you mostly?
Like pressure from others.
Performance, maybe. Meet people that I don't know. I am always afraid of what they're going to think about me.
Procrastination, is that the feeling? I don't know if that's a maybe habit, not the feeling.
Yeah, but there is something that activates the procrastination. There is something before you procrastinate that is the sabotage.
Maybe fear of failure then.
Jealousy. Fear.
Lose my control.
I want you to go to your past, and you will see situations in your life that made you feel angry and sad. Okay, it's enough. I don't want to bring the energy down here. sorry for that, but I'm doing that to actually show you something that's really important. So what we are doing now is this formula. That's the formula of changing our state. Okay, what's our state? Our state, it's the emotion that's dominating us, or that we are choosing to be in the present moment. So right now, we are all in a state, okay? We are all in a state here right now. Some of you maybe are, enthusiasm. I have enthusiasm. Some of you maybe also have enthusiasm. Some of you maybe are like in a state of, tiredness or curiosity or bored. I don't know. But we are all in a state here, okay? And every state that we are, it's being created by something that is in this formula, okay? So when I ask you now to think about things that make you angry and sad, it's because now I'm going to show you how we can create angriness and sadness in our life. How you do to do that. So the first part of the triad, it's focus. You can write down this triad for you if you want, because you'll be able to do it with yourself later, okay? If we visualize, we can find in our lives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 situations or more that make us sad, right? Everybody agree with that? In our whole life, we can find situations that can make us really sad. The first part of the creation of your emotional state is focus. It's what we choose to visualize. It's what we choose. Look the word I'm saying, what we choose. Many persons will say, if you think about this situation from your past and focus on that for 30 minutes, if you go to a doctor, they maybe will say to you, you have to be careful. Maybe you need to take some medication, because this focus that you're giving to that thing in your past that makes you sad, it's generating some emotional problems for you. Another pattern that's called the language pattern, okay? That is also helping you to create your state. So you have the focus, the image you chose. When you have a focus, you usually have a language that follows the focus. And the language is it's an internal dialogue that you use to give meaning to that visualization that you have. Okay? So are you all with me? You following me? Yes? Are we in the same page? So what I want you to think about now, it's I'm gonna share the rooms, and you will share with each other what the language that you use to keep this negative visualization that made you sad. What internal dialogues you say, to yourself? What's the internal dialogue you have when, for example, Asen, you got late and lost your flight? It makes you sad, but usually you will say something to yourself. You will say, you will have an internal dialogue that also is helping you to make you feel sad, because all of that could happen to you, but you could reframe that and not be sad, but somehow you got sad, okay? Which internal dialogue do you think you have that is giving meaning to that image that we just discussed here, or other negative images that you have that makes you sad, okay? Let's do that. 1 minute. We usually lose for ourselves all the time, because you lose for the things you also tell to yourself. She's using me, she thinks the things we say to ourselves, those things change our own states, while we could be choosing to say other things, right? Like, okay, I have to find a different job, I need to become better so I will get different clients that will not take my piece. Or, I think I need to get better on making better agreements. So there is no way. Understand what I mean? Which internal dialogues, negative dialogues, do you have to support that usually? Okay?
Yeah, I say that I'm not worthy. It's always my fault. I don't deserve it. And I'm always like this, or I'm always late, or
what are they going to think about me?
I'm an idiot.
I say to myself, I have to do something when I'm not supposed to do something.
So why am I asking you that? Imagine now that you have that focus of your stories that you share with us, and all the negative things that happen in our life, and then we're choosing to think about that situation of our past for 5 minutes, only 5 minutes a day. But now we are not only seeing that in our mind's eye, that situation, that thing that made us sad, but we are also saying things like, what they will think about me. I'm an idiot. You know what I'm saying? And we are repeating those things to ourselves. And we are saying, okay, it's always my fault. It's always my fault. It's always my. You're doing that for 5 minutes. Now you're thinking about the image, and your language, it's adding up to that. It's always my fault. It's always my fault. I'm an idiot. And whatever. We all have that. Okay? So what is happening now is that you're focusing on that image, and you have a language. I'm an idiot. I'm not worthy. I'm always late. So you're doing that for 5 minutes. Let me ask you, how do you think your body physiology is showing up when you're doing that? How is your body when you are saying that to yourself? I'm really sad. And are you doing that like this? I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. And I'm an idiot. I'm always late. I'm always late. How we usually do that?
I wrote it down already. So it's a shiver, headache, fast heartbeat, sick in my stomach, and crying.
Our physiology is actually showing us, you're crying, your heart beats. What you say more?
I also have this that I get very closed. So because it means also that I shut everything else out. If there would be positive things, I would be very like this.
Okay, we're focusing. And now we have the language, now we have the physiology. And all these three together create our state. From this triad, you're creating your state. And if your state, you repeat this for 1 year, 2 years, this becomes your identity, okay? That's the trick. Because if you do this, oh, I'm an idiot, or whatever, I'm always late. If we do this, because we all do these things, we are doing that all the time. The things that we are not thinking about that. And that's what I'm saying. That's why it's important to be training ourselves with personal development, because personal development is about awareness. We are actually getting aware that anyway, we are programming ourselves. Okay? That is only two things. We are always programming. The one thing is you can program by purpose, by intention, or you are being just programmed by your environment and by your decisions that are not even decided, okay? So that becomes your state, and that is the trick now. After your state becomes, I'm a person that, I don't trust myself so much, I don't think I'm good enough to try that job or opening my business or to change my body. That becomes your identity. And when that becomes your identity, what happens is that your brain and your nervous system get used to that. Chemically, your brain thinks, okay, he is like that, she's like that. And then when you try to change, your brain doesn't want to change, because you'll be like, hey, but you told me, your nervous system think you are that, and now you want to change, become a new person. You will be really uncomfortable. Okay, that will be really uncomfortable, and that's why understanding that makes us be able to change. The best thing is that we also can use that to build something positive. Okay, this formula help us to create anything. So let's say now that we want to create, I want you to take this formula for you to program your mind to change your state in the moment you desire, okay? So now we programmed something negative. I just want to show you that when you're feeling negative, you are doing that without knowing, my friends. Next time you're feeling sad, I want you to ask 3 questions. What am I focusing on in the eyes, in my mind eye? What am I focusing on in my mind eye? That's the first question. Second question is, what am I saying to myself that's making me feel like shit? And number 3 is, what am I doing with my body? How is my body? How is my body? I'm like curved, I'm like in the sofa, like this. I'm looking down, I'm walking. 3 questions you ask yourself, and you will know why you're feeling the way you're feeling. If you're feeling negative, okay? 3 or 4 things that make you be grateful for your life, okay? 3 or 4 things that you go to your memory now, back in the past, or you're thinking about now, and you'll be like, oh, you know, I'm grateful for these, I'm grateful, can be things from your past, from whatever. 4 things that make you really, really grateful to be alive.
Family, health, and roof over my head.
Resilience.
Resilience.
New chances in life, my daughter, and my stubbornness.
My new career, I plan.
Expand and grow.
Okay, my friend. So let's say now that every day when you wake up, you are now choosing a new kind of program. The college program is gratitude. Okay. So now you're going the top of your, you're going in the top of your triangle, choosing, you woke up and you say, today I'm choosing to program my mind for gratitude. And you're waking up, and then you go in your list of things to focus first. You're gonna focus in your eyes, mind, on all these images that makes you feel grateful. You know, your family, you have a roof to sleep, your new career, your power of resilience, your ability to grow, all the things that you have inside of you, and you do that only for 5 minutes per day. How grateful will you be if you do that for 5 minutes? And then what will you do now? You will add to that a pattern of language. Which words could you add to that to repeat to yourself in your language pattern that would make it even more powerful? Because one thing, it's you to visualize, okay? It's 2 different powers. One thing, you're just visualizing, you're seeing that. And that brings you to that emotion. But when you start saying, you know, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful to be able to live in 2 countries, in Brazil and in Sweden. I'm really resilient. I always find solutions. My subconscious mind always gives an answer when I need. So you start saying that for yourself 5 minutes a day, every day. You visualize you have in your house, you visualize, you know, your kids, if you have kids, if that's something that makes you grateful, you have the words, and I ask you, do you think your body will look like this? Do you think how your body will look like? You know, your physiology will be, what do you think it will look like? If you start thinking about this now, for real, your body naturally will change, your physiology will change. Okay, so maybe you're asking, but how I know that this works? I'm gonna tell you now why this works. Is anybody here smoke cigarettes? No? Only healthy people, right? Anybody drink beer? Sometimes wine. Okay. So let me ask you one thing. The first time in your life, the first time that you drink wine in your life, how was it? The first time. It was like, I love wine.
Beer, I do remember. I was 10 years old.
So I'm going to say because... But how was the taste? You like the taste?
No.
Do you like now?
From time to time. Sometimes.
Time to time, okay.
After a good barbecue.
The first time I drink alcohol, I hate it. It was like, okay. The first time when we were young, and all of us, or if somebody smoked cigarettes, if you ask somebody that loves cigarettes and smokes cigarettes, you know, they will say the first time they didn't grab the cigarette and it was like, saying the first time, oh, this is really great thing, you know, I love it. My friend, no, it didn't happen like that. They probably coughed, they probably hated it the first time. So they started hating, as many of us started hating the alcohol taste in our body because it was not in our nature. But what happened is that we start to doing this formula that I show you. And that becomes a program. We didn't born with the program called alcohol, right? We didn't born with the program called smoking cigarette, such as that we hate when we do for the first time. But after we start to focusing on it, repeat 1 time, 2 times, and you go to a friend, and then your friend say, I have one here, take one, and you don't like, but you say, no, you're gonna look good, and you start changing your internal dialogue about that thing, and you start doing something physiologically also with your body, the movement. When you're drinking, you're also doing a movement. Any kind of addiction, actually, an addiction, if you're going to analyze, is not an addiction. An addiction, it's an installation of a program. It's a condition. You condition your body to need that because you didn't need that. So the addiction becomes this condition that you, by repeating, made your body now need. And if you want to let it go, your body will say, no, man, you need that. If you want to be a better mother, what you can do, you can start focusing on how would you like to be, okay, as a mother or as a wife or as a husband or as a lover, whatever. You can start seeing in your focus what you want. What you programming, I'm talking about programming something that you're not. You can program to be, if you want to program to be a person that likes to train more, you can do that by using that formula, okay? You can start to see in your mind's eye, you training, you going to the gym, you moduling people that are already doing that. And then you start using the language to actually say things to you like, I love to train, my body is changing, I have energy. And you start programming yourself, and then you use your physiology also. You move your body, you change your posture. You're lazy, but you go. So the formula help us to actually change our emotional state. With our mind state, we can start also understanding more about why we choose what we choose and why we have the results that we have. When was the last time you questioned yourself about why you do what you do? When was the last time you questioned yourself about why you believe in what you believe? And when was the last time you questioned yourself and why you do the things the way you do? When did you question yourself for the last time? What's your takeaway from that formula?
We need to step out of the comfort zone every day. That means the triangle needs to be repeated, because it does not take only 21 days to create a habit. It's a repetitive process. So yeah, if we practice, what was my takeaway and what I shared with Ildiko before as well, is that if we practice it every day, it works. The triangle works.
How can we practice that every day? What's your suggestion?
Well, for example, just writing down the 5 emotions that come up, the 5 sentences to re-enhance or reaffirm what you're believing, and monitoring and write the 5 physiological responses to your body. And then keep like a journal of it.
I need to be putting this in practice more and 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 more, or I cannot move to another level. And if you have a habit that you've done and repeated for 3, 4, 5 years, you will need more than 6 days. It's kind of, it's a little bit illusion now to think that we will go over a narrow pathway that we've been repeating for 5 years in 6 days. It's too little. It's too little. We need to reinforce even more. That's why repetition is the mother of all skills.
It's very grateful to have this help to coaching myself also every day.
8 people give you positive feedback and 2 people give you negative feedback. In my situation, I always listen to those 2 negative ones. So I think for my sake is that to try to be better to concentrate on the ones that actually give me positive feedback. And I have an example today, because Ricardo, you know that my big dream is to be able to live from my art. And I was in town in Helsingborg today, and one guy was sitting on the street begging for money, and he was selling some cards. And then one woman asked, "Who has made this card?" He said, "It's me. I'm an artist." And I felt my whole body falling down, and I wanted to start crying. I said, "So this is my future also, if I want to." That was my first thought.
Okay.
Was negative, like, is that the future of a future artist, like with my big dream? Look at how my big dream is sitting on the street begging for money. But then I kept on walking. I said, no, I'm not going to let myself get into that position. I'm going to fight for what. So, I mean, that's what I mean by, I could have taken that negative experience and just let it take me down completely. I'm going to forget about my dream. But I think somehow a little bit because of being in your group and everything has changed my mind a little bit. So yeah, I think that's important.
Thank you.
Sometimes
Thank you,
we see, yeah.
Really powerful what you share. Really, really powerful, all of us. This happens with everyone. And this is not only with you. This is the human brain always focus on the negative. So if somebody tell us, if 10 people tell us you look beautiful today, and one person come and say, your hair look like shit, you'll be like, the whole time, if you're in a party, going to the bathroom to check if your hair look like shit, and you forget that 10 people said you look gorgeous. So our brain, it's our brain's job to do that. But what you've done, it's actually what we are trying to bring to awareness. You by purpose, you change your state, and you decide, no, shut up. I own here. I decide who I want to be. I decide how I'm going to be. So thank you, Trude.
Like when I think about negative thoughts, I first have to be aware of them. Many times I don't. I just react automatically. And then I have to change my thoughts by purpose, as you said.
This is a really important for us to take. That is, we are always having results from our states of mind. Anyway, even if you think that you're not having, you're already having, or by default, or by purpose. We decide to have by purpose by having awareness. I'm gonna do one activity with you, okay? So I want you to think like, if I look to this thing here in my hand now, okay, I'm looking to this direction. Do you think that is something terrible happening in the world right now? Imagine this is everything terrible happening in the world right now, and I'm looking to that. Do you think that something terrible happening in the world right now? Oh, there is always something terrible happening, right? Yes? So if I look to this thing all the time, how do you think I'm gonna feel? I'm looking at that, so it's really bad. So if I look to this thing here every day, what do you get more in my life?
More terrible things.
More terrible things, right? But this is all the terrible things that are happening in the world, and these are the good things happening. Do you think there is something magical happening in the world right now? Do you think there is something beautiful happening? Do you think there is people are actually helping each other? That is like, parents that are happy doing meals with the family. That is somebody doing a beautiful charity work to the world. That is people doing great things to the world. Do you think that is happening? Yes, we know that. But if I only look to this place, what happened? I don't see anything that's happening here. If I change my face and I look here, and I'm always looking here every day, how do you think I will feel? We know I will feel great, right? So if I do this most part of my day, if I look at this and I choose to look to this, to the biggest part of my day, what do you think I will get more of in my life? Positive, okay? This means that there is some shit happening in the world still, right? It's happening, it's here, it's happening. But I'm choosing my focus. and I'm choosing my attention and I'm choosing my energy to look for what I want. How much more you look for what you want, you get more of what you want. How much you're focusing on the life you want, the direction you want to go, you will get that more in your life. Knowing that sometimes some shit will happen. It's natural, okay? But choose to focus your thoughts to where you want to go, to the good, so you can get more of the good.
Every night before I go to sleep, I take a glass water, drink half of them with the left hand, and rinsing the left right of my brain, all bullshit.
Yeah.
When I wake in the morning, I take the right hand and thinking and looking out and try to find the shine and the sun and drinking the positive.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's very easy.
We all have our ways to do, and that's the beauty, you know. There is no right way, there is no wrong, there is no right way, there is our way. Do it, because that's what takes us from the place we are to the place we want to be. Okay, my friends, so I want to thank you for your time today. Hope you had a great time. Thank you for today. Thank you for today, and I hope you finish this day looking to the good. Okay.